Hi friends, Jen with the Little Craft Corner, and I am excited to show another project with you today. I am currently in level 3 of the Altenew Educator Certification Program, and I chose to take JC Gaspar's Transcending Tattoo Techniques really because I was beyond curious of how tattoo art could then transcend into card art. So he was a wonderful teacher and had lots of different types of tattoos to show, which I had never heard before. But I focused much on the old school graphic coloring, which I'll show you in a moment. But what I'm going to practice with today is the dot work. And this is using meticulous placement of dots to create these intricate patterns when viewed from afar. So from a distance, you're going to see, like these little patterns, but they're really just made up of very little dots. And when we create the dots, you want to do it in a way that you are creating some depth and to express some light on your card surface. It's best to start with a stamp that has a lot of open space, a lot of open area that you can put your dots on. And I chose to use Altenew's wallpaper art because this has the exact images that I'm looking for that have all these wide spaces. So that is one of the tools we're going to use today. And then we're going to be using the fine liner pens from Altenew. And we're going to be specifically using fine liner 005. This will give you the smallest dot, almost needle-like precision. So I'm going to get my card, my prep work done, and I'll be right back. To begin the background of our card, I'm placing my background first. These are going to be the leaf placements. So if you look at my example, the leaves are literally just stamped onto the card base. So that's what I'm doing right now. I put them in my stamp positioner. And bring this up, and I'm using Charcoal Sweet Altenew's Crisp ink from the Gentleman's Gray collection. And we're going to get this inked up. And I'll have to go over this a couple of times. So now that you have stamped your leaves on your card base, just keep in mind it doesn't have to be perfect in the center. You're really focusing on the outer leaf images, as your image will cover, your floral image will cover the center. So for a card like this, we are focusing on the stippling, the little small dots technique. And I'm so sorry, I hit my camera there with my hand. So, but back onto the flower, you want to create an image that has a large white space on your petal. And this way you can create the best shading effects on the petal. And you want to use a fine liner. Altenew makes these wonderful fine liner pen sets. I'm using a 005. And if you notice on this image, there's already some built-in shading for us. So that is helpful because that will give you a base of where to start. And so what I began to do was carry on that same shading, and I just carried it up to the top of the flower. Your dots should be clustered really tight together, like almost like needle point, imagine a sewing machine going up and down, up and down, up and down. But you're doing this with your tip of the fine liner. The closer the clusters are, the more depth and shadowing you're going to get. When you take your pen and space out your dots, you're going to have the illusion of it being some light-filled areas. So this is really up to you on how you want your creation to look. It is all subjective and how you want your flower to be. It is a lot of fun to create this. I will say in the beginning, I was trying to, copy JC. I was trying to make every little dot like his, which obviously is not even practical. This is your project and make it your project. There are going to be some times when you're, more heavy handed and have a little more clustering. And in fact, after I made this flower, I realized that I had too many sharp peaks. And really, what I was aiming for was this softer type clustering of dark into light. But the image that I chose for this sample was a little tight, and I got excited when I was stippling. So therefore, they look like little triangles instead of the stippling effect. But that's okay. When it was all put together, the card did turn out just perfect. So I'm really just going around at this point, adding in some more clusters, deciding, do I want to, add darkness here, some lightness there. Shading and looking at a flower is not my strong suit. I just kind of see it as a one layered image, and I don't notice the light hitting it. I'm not quite there yet. So I was honestly just having some fun doodling on this image, adding all of my dots and kind of letting, wherever my hand took me is where it ended. So I'm just about finished adding all of the stippling dot work on this floral image. And again, we're using the wallpaper flower art stamp set. And overall, I would say this took me, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Again, I did do this quickly for the purposes of I was just in this sort of, I want to get this flower done. I would say for beginner, you would probably want to take your time and practice on some scratch paper to have an idea of how your hand is. What is your, are you heavy and dot, or are you a gentler touch? And just play around with it. It really is a lot of fun. But it's about, give or take 15, 20 minutes of flower. So it is a different type of artwork, and I would welcome you to try it. So once I'm done all of these little images, what I'll be doing next is fussy cutting this out and getting ready to prepare my card. So at this point, we're almost finished our card. I knew that I wanted the sentiment to be in the bottom left. And at this point, we sort of already created our visual line. So I'm going to attach the stippled dotted image I just created and have this one kind of hugging the leaves up here. I mounted the larger flower. Now I did this on my own time before I was making you the example of this flower. And I'm going to pop this up for some interest on the card and place this little guy so that we're still seeing our sentiment. And he's going to go right about here. I then backed my card base on an A2 card. I like to have a back for a little pop of interest. And just like I did with card number 1, which was all in white, I will add a few sequins to give it a little pop of color down here. And that is it. This is a very simple card to make. And you get to put your own spin on it. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and until next time, bye-bye.